Hello guys, this is Rocketster15, also aka Nicholas Rodriguez, Nick R or Nick Rod. I wanted to just tell you guys, I was reading the Bible, I was reading the book of Hebrews, and I was reading it and I saw a specific verse that was so beautiful. And if you go to Hebrews, okay, if you go to Hebrews right now, let me show you Hebrews. This is a message I feel God wants me to put out in the world. This is something we have to know. Hebrews, if you go to Hebrews chapter 3 verse 18. Wow, the wind is really a lot of wind here. Okay, so guys, as I was saying before I got in trouble, God is talking to his church right now because this is something he wants me to share to the world. Go to chapter 3 on Hebrews, New Testament Hebrews, chapter 3 verse 18 and 19. We're gonna read from there. I got the King James version. So it says, "And to whom swore he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not? To whom does God swore?" I'm going to translate that. I'm going to do my best on this. "To whom did God swore that they should not enter his rest? To them that believe not." Those who didn't believe couldn't enter his rest. In verse 19, it goes on. "So we say that they could not enter in because of unbelief." So we say, that's pretty obvious right there. We see that they, the people of God, could not enter because of unbelief. Now, that part of the Bible was talking about the promised land. The Hebrews were talking about that part of the promised land, that because the people were unbelieving, even though they saw God's miracles, they saw his signs, they saw everything in God, they saw the beauty and glory of God, even through it all, they still didn't believe in God. They had unbelief in their hearts, and it was like an anchor down to the floor. It's a hope that is being lost. They had unbelief, and that tells me something, and this is what I'm about to say. You cannot enter the promised land if you don't believe you're going to enter the promised land. You cannot enter the promised land with unbelief. If you keep living in this world, if you keep having a mentality of unbelief, like, oh, well, God says this, but I'm still kind of, wavering with my faith, you're not going to receive what God promised if you have unbelief or doubt. Unbelief is not believing the truth. Unbelief to God is not believing in the real truth God is telling you. If one day God says, "I'm going to prosper you," the next day you say to God, or even to yourself, even to your own heart, "I don't believe I'm going to prosper." You're going to stay like that without prospering for the rest of your life until you learn to believe in the truth. So what am I saying? You cannot enter the promised land with unbelief. You need faith. If I have faith that I want a wife, and I love this girl, and I believe she's my wife, and God confirms it, but one day if I say to God, "Well, God, I don't believe it," I'm not going to receive that wife. If I'm looking for a job and I don't have a job, and God told me that he was going to give me the best job out there, and I still don't have a job, and I say, "God, where's the job? I don't believe the job is there." Guess what? I'm not going to get that job. Because you have to believe. You have to have belief. You have to believe what God is telling you. If you don't have faith, you're wasting your time. You're going in circles in the wilderness, even if it takes 40 years. These people didn't go to the promised land. Only their generations to come went. But the people didn't, because they had unbelief, guys. They didn't believe in the truth. They were so close to the promised land, but for 40 years, they've been going around in circles. And because of that, they wasted their time, they wasted their life, and they died of vain until the next generation grew up, and then that generation went to get the promised land. Why? Because that generation learned the truth. They believed. So if you're expecting a miracle from God, but you still have unbelief in your heart, you're wasting your time. It's a lose-lose battle there. You're wasting your time. Okay? You have to have faith. You have to have faith. Faith is what moves things. Faith is what makes things come true. You have to believe. You have to pray and believe. Okay? That's the message God wants me to say. God bless you guys. We're on this together. God bless you guys. And yeah, that's what God wanted me to tell you guys. Bless you guys. Peace out.